Hello everybody and welcome to the video notes for Unit 2, Day 6. And today we're going to learn a new method for dividing fractions using reciprocals. What's a reciprocal? Well, we'll find out in just a moment. But first, today's video is dedicated to Karina in 6B. Hi Karina. First, let's think about something that we learned earlier in this quarter. We solved a problem like this, 1/3 divided by 4, and the way that we solved it was, right, we had 1/3. You don't have to draw this on your paper right here. I'm just going to show you. And we split it into fourths because we were dividing by fourths, right? So we went like this. We split it into fourths like that. And we're like, okay, well, if you just took one section like this, what would that be? Right, and that's the same thing as taking 1/3 and then multiplying it by 1/4, right, which would give us 1 times 1 is 1, 3 times 4 is 12. Right, so the big thing here is that we learned that dividing by 4 was the same thing as multiplying times 1/4. And so remember that as we work through our problems today. So first, let's look at example 1. We're having 8/5 divided by 3/5. And so far, we've mainly been focusing on how we can solve this using method 1, which is using a diagram. So before we get to method 2, first, do what you know, which is drawing a diagram. Right? We draw 8/5. I'll get you started here. Go ahead and draw out 8/5 right there. And then solve the rest of that problem and continue the video after you've solved it this way. So pause and finish that on your own right here. Go. And now you're resuming the video after you've completed this diagram. So 8/5, let's draw that out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's 1. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's another fifths right there. And we want 8 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're dividing it by 3/5. So we want sections, of 3/5. Here's 3/5. Here's another 3/5. And then here we need 3, but we have 2/5. And so I have 1 full section of 3/5, 2 full sections of 3/5. So that gives me 2 wholes. And I have 2 out of the 3/5 that I need for that section, so it's 2 out of 3. So 2 2/3 is my answer. If you got that right, 3 gold stars to you. And now let's try method 2 so that we can level up. We're going to multiply by the reciprocal. Go ahead and underline this word right here, reciprocal. And a reciprocal is what we did up here, where we turned 4 into 1/4. Right? So if 4 is the same thing as 4/1, the reciprocal is where we just switch the numerator and the denominator, and that's why 4/1 became 1/4. So let's try that here. We have 8/5, write that out. 8/5. And then instead of dividing by 3/5, we are going to multiply by the reciprocal of 3/5. So we're going to switch the numerator and the denominator. So for dividing by 3/5, right, we're going to switch the numerator and the denominator, just like that. Switching it. So we're going to multiply by 5/3. Okay, so now multiply fractions, I could just multiply across. But first, whenever you're multiplying fractions, you can make it easier by cross-canceling. Right? Cross-canceling means if we have the same number up top that we also have as the denominator, those are going to cancel out to 1. So I could cross these out because I have a 5 in the numerator here and a 5 in the denominator there, and just make this 1. And then I can multiply, and it's a lot easier. 8 times 1 is 8. 1 times 3 is 3. Okay, so here's my answer. Now the answer is an improper fraction. So if in 5th grade or in 4th grade you learned how to turn an improper fraction into a mixed number, I would like for you to do that. If you didn't learn how to turn an improper fraction into a mixed number, and this next part is completely new to you, don't worry if you get confused. Just try your best. Okay, so here, then I check 3 can go into 8 how many times? Well, 3 times 1 is 3, 2 times 3 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9, that's too many, so it's going to be 2. And I would have 2 remainder, right? Because 2 times 3 is 6, and then 2 remainder. So 2 is what remains, and then so it's 2 2/3. And if you look at that, here is the same thing that I got over here. Now that we've tried this one together, I want you to now try number 2 using both methods. Draw a diagram for it, find the answer, and then try using the reciprocal method. So let's, you guessed it, pause, and then finish number 2 on your own. Do that right now. So pausing and trying number 2 on your own. And now you are resuming the video, and you finished number 2, and now you're just checking your work. So remember, don't resume the video until you've tried both of these on your own. Okay. 11/12 divided by 12, 2/12. Let's draw out 11/12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 12 right there. 12/12. Let's shade in 11 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And so all of that's 11/12, and we divide it into sections of 2/12. Here's 2/12. Here's another 2/12. Here's another 2/12. Here's another 2/12. Here's another 2/12. And then here at the end I have 1/12 left. So how many sections of 2/12 do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections of 2/12. So I have 5 whole sections of 2/12, and then 1/12, which is half of what I need, because I want sections of 2/12, and I have 1 out of the 2, so it's 5 and 1/2. Let's try by multiplying by the reciprocal to see if we get the same answer. We have 11/12, right? And we're dividing by 2/12. So the reciprocal of 2/12, I just have to switch the numerator and the denominator. So multiplying by, so instead of 2/12, I'm multiplying by 12/2. Right? And I check, can I do any cross-canceling? In this case, I can, because I have a 12 here and a 12 here. Those will cancel out, and I'm just left with 1. And then I multiply across. 11 times 1 is 11. 1 times 2 is 2. So now I have 11/2. This is my improper fraction. I can turn this into a mixed number. 2 goes into 11 how many times? 5 times, because 2 times 5 is 10, and then I'd have 1 left over. So it's 1 was my remainder, and that's out of 2. So 1/2 left over. 5 and 1/2. And look at that. 5.5 here, 5.5 here. They match up. That's how I know I did it correctly. You got that. 4 gold coins to you. And now, to put it all together, let's check out our big ideas. So the first thing that we learned today was the reciprocal. Reciprocal. The reciprocal, right, of a fraction like, let's say, x over y is, you just switch it, is y over x. And the other thing that we learned was dividing by the fraction x over y is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. So what I mean by that is, let's say I have a fraction that's a over b, and I'm dividing that by x over y. That is the same thing as having the fraction a over b and multiplying that fraction by the reciprocal of x over y, which is switching it y over x. Okay. Now that we have our big idea, what I want you to do is to put it all together. This part where it says explain it to a friend. Write in words how you would solve 2/3 divided by 3/4. All right? So you don't have to solve it. I just want you to use an explanation in words how you would approach your solution. And in your explanation, I want you to use the words multiply, divide, and reciprocal in your answer. Once you're done with this part down here, look up at the board and you'll see your instructions. It should probably say to put your computer away and then get an early start on your homework if you finished early. So, with that,
thank you so much for playing my game.